Hello everybody, Jason Hay again, National Sales Manager for Mamaki Australia, and in the New South Wales showroom today we've got webinar series 2. Today's topic is 5-layer printing, but more importantly 5-layer setup in regards to how to create the 5-layer using Adobe Illustrator and Rasterlink. I'm joined with Pat Bianco, our product and application specialist here in New South Wales. But what we want to discuss today is obviously the uniqueness in regards to 5-layer printing. In the New South Wales showroom, we've got 2 devices set up, one being a UCJB 300-160 with a CMYK light cyan, light magenta, and dual white. And behind me is the UCJB 300-75, which is set up with CMYK, double white, and double clear. Both machines, both different ink configurations can give you this particular application that we're talking today, which is 5-layer printing. What I wanted to showcase to you, and for those who don't know it, is actually what is 5-layer printing. The benefit of the UCJB 300 series, it actually prints 5 layers in a single pass. And what that basically means, and as you can see it on your screen, you have your color file first, then goes through a white layer, a black layer, or a shaded plate layer, a white layer, and then obviously your 5th color, which is the actual double-sided print behind you. And that's actually physically what we're doing today. So with Pat's artwork that we're actually showcasing is actually inline 5-layer printing using this. What I'll do is I'll now introduce Pat and bring Pat into the, I suppose, the forte of what we're actually going to be doing in regards to the 5-layer setup. During the actual presentation, I will be asking Pat some questions, and if you guys see this and you need to ask us any particular questions or something's not clear, you can always call Pat or I, or actually send us an email, and we'll be able to support that in any possible way. But Pat, welcome to the actual, I suppose, the webinar in the forefront of 5-layer printing. So I suppose just in regards to supporting us a little bit, we're using Adobe Illustrator and Rasterlink, but just give us, I suppose, what version of Rasterlink and what version of Illustrator we're using.
So we're using Adobe Illustrator 2021. The 2022 version, which is available on Creative Cloud, isn't yet supported by the Mamaki Rasterlink plugin, so you do need to use the 2021 version of Adobe Illustrator. And then for Rasterlink, you need to be using version 2.12, which is the latest version. Otherwise, 5-layer printing will not work for you.
Okay, all right. So, and I suppose this is, 5-layer printing for dummies, and that's me. So what I wanted to do is, I suppose, if you can just open up Illustrator and just give us a uniqueness in regards to how to create this particular application. I'm just going to turn a couple of buttons off myself.
So just before we start with Adobe Illustrator, it might be a good idea to make your screen full screen and close your chat window. It just make the Adobe Illustrator a little bit easier to see while we're sharing screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to File and New, and we're going to set up our document. In this instance, we're going to do an A4 landscape, which is 297 by 210, and we're going to work in CMYK. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is bring in our image. So we're going to start with the blue car, and that's going to be on the back of our print. And then we're just going to place it roughly in the middle of our artboard. And because we're going to be working with EPS files today, not with PDFs, we need to ensure that our artwork stays within an A4 size in our document. So all layers must be A4. If we're working with a PDF document, that will automatically cut off at our artboard. Do you understand that, Jason?
Yeah, I do. So basically what you're saying, and I suppose the easiness of it, and the reason we're actually doing this is because the plugin tool that's actually in Adobe Illustrator only works with EPS.
That's correct.
Okay, so just to help people out, what we're just trying to do here, that artwork that you just then was bigger than the board.
Correct. So we're going to now apply a clipping mask. So we do that by using our rectangle tool, selecting just to the edge of our artboard. I'll make the image in the background just a touch bigger. And then we're going to select both our image and our new square, and using Control-7 or Object Clipping Mask, make. So that's now cut off our edges here, and here, and everything is A4.
Okay.
So our next step will be to make a new layer. If your layers panel is not open, you'll need to go to Window and Layers or F7. And that'll open up this panel on the right-hand side, and we can use the little plus icon down the bottom to create a new layer. So this will be our second layer with our second image. So once again, we'll go File, Place, and we'll select our second image, which in this case is going to be the red car. And we'll do the same process, make that fit our A4 page. And we'll do another clipping path, which is the rectangle tool on the left here. And select both the clipping of the rectangle and the image, and we'll do Control-7, and that does the clipping path. So now we've got our two layers in our layer window on the right, and the next step is to bring up the Mimaki Rasterlink plugin. So this plugin has a few tools, but we're just going to be covering the multi-layer printing tool to start with.
So, sorry, Pat, can I just butt in there a little bit? I suppose the tools are obviously there to make our job and your life and our customers' life a little bit easier. I suppose what would happen and if the 5-layer tool wasn't actually in the actual the Rasterlink tools?
Great question, Jason. All you've got to do is make sure you're running the latest version of the Mimaki Rasterlink plugin, and that can be seen on our website, which I'll just bring up, under Rasterlink 6 Plus, and you've got Rasterlink Tools for Illustrator version 1.9. That's the latest version.
Okay, and then once you've obviously double-clicked that, it just goes through the process.
It goes through a very simple installer.
Yep. Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. I mean, I suppose what we're just trying to do is just simplify the process for the end users that are physically out there that don't unfortunately don't have it updated all the time. But it is a unique nice little feature that we've got with Rasterlink Tools.
So our next little button is the little black and white multi-layer tool with the plus button. This is going to create our layers. So we're going to select a 5-layer print because that's what we're doing today. And that instantly makes on our layer panel over here our white, black, and white to go in the middle there. Okay. Nice little sandwich.
All right. So what we've done is that the difference between creating the layers individually and not creating. Well, obviously, sorry. Start again. The differences between creating the layers individually and with the time factor alone is that you probably just saved yourself 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a nice little feature in regards to the reasons why we should use the Rasterlink tools. But just for one again, just the Rasterlink tools, you have to use EPS.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Makes it so much easier. It's a click of a button.
Yep.
So then we're going to use the multi-layer output tool, which is the button next to it, which is the one with the little icons of multiple layers. And once again, it's just the output button is all we need to click. And we're going to go to our Rasterlink hot folder for the UCGV that we're using. So that'll be located in C drive, MJI Suite, under hot, and in this case I've got 2 UCGVs set up. This is my testing one, which we're going to use today. We can name our file, so I'm just going to call it car 5-layer, and I'm going to hit save. And all we have to do is hit OK. We can use all the defaults here.
I suppose this takes a little bit of time in regards to doing that, but obviously now obviously now we've obviously imported into a hot folder, which we can then obviously see on the UCJV on the Rasterlink tools and things like that. And we're almost there.
So it's
and will this automatically load Rasterlink now, or do we actually got to go in and actually load Rasterlink?
Rasterlink doesn't need to be open at the time of doing this. The files will sit in your hot folder.
Yep.
But you'll need to open Rasterlink to then see it.
Okay.
It doesn't automatically open Rasterlink.
All right, cool. So and we've got Rasterlink open here, and
now this one that's sitting here is one I prepared earlier. If we wait a minute, it's going to read what's in our hot folder, and then they'll start importing our files.
Okay.
This takes a little bit of time, but it will pop up. Here we go. Our logs just show that it's read what's in our hot folder, and it's starting to read our files.
Okay. So just do us a favor. Can you just delete the last files for us? Just so we don't get confused, because I suppose what the end users want is to see what happens when it physically loads within the Rasterlink itself.
But there we go. It's loaded in our file, and you'll notice that we've got this black line which is linking all our layers together. It's automatically composited our color, our white, our shading plate, other white layer, and our final color layer on top.
Okay, so once it's actually physically loaded, what happens then?
So once it's physically loaded, well, I'm just showing our composition so to confirm that our layers are indeed there. From here, we just need to go to our quality window, and we can actually pick our profile and resolution.
All right, so at the moment, we've picked the LUS 170 inks, which is the ink setup that we've obviously got. We're going to be printing onto some PVC translucent material.
And then it's just a matter of our resolution.
Okay, and just what resolutions do we have in this particular?
So we've got 300 by 900, 600 by 1200, and 600 by 600.
Okay, and today we printed it in 600 by 600.
Exactly. We select our 600 by 600, and then we can just go and execute our print. It's that simple.
All right.
So we can go execute, and we can rip and print, and off we go.
So it's as simple as that. So what you're basically saying is that we've created 2 A4 images in Adobe Illustrator. Uploaded rastering tools, hit the create 5 layers. So we've got 3 buttons so far. Generate the 5 layers, and basically that then opens up in the hot folder in rastering tools, and then we've clicked our 5th button, which is obviously now the quality button, and our 6th button is to start the process. So what you're saying, from Adobe Illustrator to an end result like this as a 5-layer print is 6 buttons from start to finish.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. So there you go. There you have it, everybody. 5-layer setup using obviously Adobe Illustrator and Rasterlink from Mimaki Australia. Stay tuned. We will obviously have more tips and tricks at a later date in regards to obviously utilizing the new webinar system that we've got. And Pat and I will be back with you one day soon.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jason.
That was poor. So I've still got it recording. We're going to do it again.
No.
No, we're doing it again. That was fucking terrible.